largely investment in India was more focused on FD करना है या savings account में रखना है. अभी mutual fund and SIP has become popular, while we who have been in the industry have known कि this is the way to wealth create. 2018 में जो problem था जो Groww के through हमने solve किया वो ये था कि we wanted to create maximum number of investors in India or we wanted to create investing as a mainstream thing in India.
Why do you think even people who are informed about investment and products yet need handholding?
Biggest thing which we do for our customer is to manage the customer's emotions. Money management is secondary, I believe. When the markets are going up, then everyone believes that they can create wealth on their own. When market remains volatile, like the way it has happened in the last 1 year, that is when advisor roles becomes very, very critical.
Should be they go for a financial planning and then investing based on the financial plan?
See, it's absolutely clear that you should always go with the financial planning and then you should decide what products you should buy. But see, realistically speaking, in Indian context, it will be a combination of both.
We create a strategic asset allocation which is
Perfect.
mapped to the goal, and then there's a small portion tactical asset allocation which is focused on generating alpha for that goal.
We never worry about output. We only worry कि problem क्या solve करना है, and then we try to solve that problem by giving the best input, which is what we call as input metric.
Hi, welcome to Fincart, the podcast where we simplify wealth management for the people of India with the core purpose of helping people achieve their life goals. I'm extremely delighted to welcome Mr. Varun Gupta, who is an alumni of IIT Madras, both BTech and MTech. He started his career with being a mutual fund distributor, which was later acquired by Groww, and he built the Groww platform together. Groww became one of the largest fintech platform in the country. Today, he's taken a new challenge of shaping Groww Mutual Fund. Welcome, Varun, today to our podcast show. I'm extremely delighted to have you here.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
Okay, hi, Varun. Let me start with a simple question. You have been a part of the core group team of Groww, right? And now you have moved to the mutual fund space. How has the transition been, and what is the change of thought that you have for while building a product at Groww then moving to a mutual fund space as a CEO?
देखिए, मैं अगर अपनी जर्नी देखूं अभी तक म्यूचुअल फंड इंडस्ट्री में जैसी रही है, आई डोंट थिंक कि हमारा थॉट प्रोसेस बहुत ज़्यादा चेंज हुआ है. ओनली कस्टमर सेगमेंट चेंज हुआ है और प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट थोड़ा सा चेंज हुआ है. हमारा थॉट प्रोसेस जो रहा है कि वैल्यू एडिशन करना है, कंटिन्यू टू रिमेन द सेम, वेदर इन ग्रो ग्रुप और ग्रो म्यूचुअल फंड. देखिए, मैं बताऊं आपको, जैसा मैं आपको बता रहा था, मैं 2015 में आई वाज अ म्यूचुअल फंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर ऑन माय ओन. मैं खुद एडवाइजरी करके आई यूज्ड टू हैव कस्टमर्स एंड कंसल्ट देम ऑन देयर वेल्थ क्रिएशन जर्नी. देन 2018 में ग्रो एक्वायर्ड माय बिजनेस माय ARN. फिर हमने ग्रो में डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन चालू किया एंड देन वी स्टार्टेड ऑफ एज रेगुलर बट वी शिफ्टेड टू डायरेक्ट बिकॉज हमने देखा कि जो प्रॉब्लम था 2018 में इंडस्ट्री में, एंड यू हैव बीन अ वेटरन इन दिस इंडस्ट्री सो यू विल रिलेट कि तब तक लोग म्यूचुअल फंड में इन्वेस्ट नहीं करते थे, राइट. लार्जली इन्वेस्टमेंट इन इंडिया वाज मोर फोकस्ड ऑन FD करना है या सेविंग्स अकाउंट में रखना है.
Correct.
अभी म्यूचुअल फंड एंड SIP हैज बिकम पॉपुलर, while we who have been in the industry have known कि this is the way to wealth create. तो 2018 में जो प्रॉब्लम था जो ग्रो के थ्रू हमने सॉल्व किया वो ये था कि वी वांटेड टू क्रिएट मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ इन्वेस्टर्स इन इंडिया और वी वांटेड टू क्रिएट इन्वेस्टिंग एज अ मेन स्ट्रीम थिंग इन इंडिया. और ये हमारा ऑब्जेक्टिव था. द वे हमको लगा कि जिस द वे वी हैव टू डू इट इज टू मेक इन्वेस्टिंग वेरी वेरी सिंपल, राइट. देयर इज नो बेल्स एंड विसल्स. आपको बहुत सिंप्लीफाई करना है बिकॉज इन्वेस्टिंग एट द टाइम यूज्ड टू बी वेरी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड. मेजोरिटी इन्वेस्टमेंट आपको लग रहा था, आपको याद होगा तो ऑफलाइन होती थी, पेपर एंड पेन से होती थी. सो वी मेड इट कम्प्लीटली ऑनलाइन एंड वी मेड इट वेरी वेरी सिंपल. हमने KYC ऑनबोर्डिंग बहुत सिंपल करा, ट्रांजेक्शन सिंपल करा, पोर्टफोलियो आपका जो डैशबोर्डिंग आप जो अपना पोर्टफोलियो ट्रैक करते हैं वो बहुत ईजी करा. एनी नॉन कमर्शियल ट्रांजेक्शन थे वो बहुत ईजी करा. एंड इट क्रिएटेड ट्रस्ट, इट क्रिएटेड एंड यू वुड सी कि 2018 में आई थिंक इंडस्ट्री हैड अबाउट 1.5 करोड़ इन्वेस्टर्स. And now industry have 5.5 crore investors, right? And mutual fund investing has become very, very popular. So what I'm trying to say, the problem statement was solve for number of investors in India. The way we solved it at Groww was to be very, very focused on investor और उनकी जो journey है उसको simplify करिए. Now in Groww AMC, our objective is to create wealth for our customers, create wealth for our investors. And what we have realized कि in the wealth creation journey of an investor, advisors play a very, very important role, right? It for some customers it can happen via DIY investing, via investing completely online. But for a very large segment of customers, it also happens via advisors slash distributors. So हमारा thought process वही है कि we are working for our end customer. Just the way for us to reach there has changed. Now in mutual fund, we are working very very closely with distributors and we are running multiple programs. जैसे अगर आप कस्टमर्स देखें जिस तरह से 2018 में कस्टमर्स थे नॉन डिजिटाइज एंड वेरी अवर्स टू म्यूचुअल फंड इन्वेस्टिंग एंड नाउ very aware of mutual fund investing but kind of digitized. So we are working with the distributor community to bring them up ki how do you serve this customers now, right? So basically we have launched an app जिससे आप customers को as a Groww mutual fund platform we have created systems and an app जिससे हम जो हम distributors को दे रहे हैं जिससे वो अपने customers को ऐप दे के उनको डिजिटाइज कर सकते हैं उनको उनका पोर्टफोलियो ट्रैकिंग कर सकते हैं एवरीथिंग वी आर डूइंग एट ग्रो वी आर डूइंग इट इन ग्रो एमसी वाई एन ऐप कॉल्ड एस्ट्रा वेल्थ right? And we have made it free for distributors. Second, we are doing an initiative called Nivesh Pe Charcha, where we are calling distributors and asking them to talk to our customers, Groww mutual fund customers, explaining how do you go about creating wealth for your clients, right? And then we keep it open and a lot of, distributors get a lot of views and hopefully some leads as well over a period of time. Then we run a program called O2O, offline to online. So distribution has largely been offline in India. But the new way of, as you understand, you are one of the new age, very advanced MFD with your Fincart. So you are already at that level where we want our distribution partners to be. But we are trying to do something similar for them using O2O, where we do a day-long workshop across cities in India, जहाँ पे हम उनको बताते हैं कि आपका जो ऑफलाइन बिजनेस है उसको आप न्यू एज में कैसे डिजिटाइज कर सकते हैं, कैसे स्टेप बाय स्टेप आप ऑनलाइन ले जा सकते हैं. एंड वी डू स्टोर ब्रांडिंग वेयर वी हेल्प देम create their brand using Groww mutual fund ka brand because Groww is a much brighter brand, much wider acceptance. So we do co-branding with them in their stores, in their flyers, etc. so that it helps them to acquire customers. So this is, for us, nothing has changed. As I said, only the problem statement and the way we, only the customer segment and the problem statement has changed. The approach has always remained that focus on the core customer which is at hand.
Core team of Groww, that advisor zaruri hai,
जी
is a big thing. Okay,
जी
so this change that you're talking about is keeping in mind that there should, the first pain point was getting people into the habit of investing.
correct.
Okay, that has task is
Absolutely.
over now.
Yes.
Now that, then hence the transition from invest features to more wealth creation.
Absolutely.
That
Wealth
journey,
creation.
in a way, you're doing it.
Yeah.
And you think in that journey handholding is required.
हैंडहोल्डिंग रिक्वायर्ड.
Okay.
देखिए मैं एक बहुत सिंपल एग्जांपल देता हूँ कई बार अपने इन्वेस्टर्स को, हमारे डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन पार्टनर्स को. इस अगर हम यूएस का एग्जांपल लें तो यूएस इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट एडवांस कंट्रीज व्हेन इट कम्स टू म्यूचुअल फंड इन्वेस्टिंग, राइट? लाइक इट हैज MF to GDP रेशियो इज मोर देन 100%, आई थिंक अबाउट 120%. MF AUM to GDP रेशियो
Correct,
इंडिया में इट
140%,
इज
yeah.
still about 21-22%. In US, the AUM under advisory is close to 76%. Right? There are still, like, everyone knows about investing. They have a 401k plan like we have NPS.
Correct.
But still 76% of AUM is under advisory. In such a financially literate country, they still take a lot of help from advisors to create wealth. I believe it is exactly going to be the same in India.
Why do you think even people who are informed about
Right.
investment
Right.
and products
Right.
yet need handholding? What is
Yeah.
your
Sure.
analysis there?
देखिए, see, I was myself a mutual fund distributor, and आप भी हैं तो आप भी समझ सकते हैं. तो biggest thing which we do for our customer is to manage the customer's emotions. Money management is secondary, I believe, but emotional management is much more important, right? When the markets are going up, then everyone believes that they can create wealth on their own. When market remains volatile, like the way it has happened in the last 1 year, or markets are starting to go down, that is when advisor roles becomes very, very critical. Right? That is when you advise. And you see, mutual fund is not just, you understand, mutual fund is very, very deep as a category, right? It's not just equity. Or in equity also there is large cap, mid cap, small cap, multi cap, so on and so forth.
Correct.
Then there is hybrid. There are very complicated hybrid products like multi-asset varies across AMC to AMC, the way they run their strategy. There is BAF, Balanced Advantage Fund, which works very differently across AMC to AMC. Then there are a bunch of passive funds. Then there are debt funds. There are commodity funds. तो किस तरह से आप एसेट एलोकेशन करते हैं अपने कस्टमर का? हर किसी का नीड अलग होता है, हर किसी का गोल्स अलग होते हैं, हर किसी का रिक्वायरमेंट अलग होता है. एंड यू वुड हैव सीन कि नो वन कस्टमर का फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग इज नॉट सिमिलर टू एनी अदर कस्टमर. इट वेरीज वेरी ड्रास्टिकली. So that management along with emotional management is what I believe advisor adds a lot of value, will continue to add value. And people who are not able to do it themselves and need help beyond a certain point should definitely consider consulting an advisor, consulting a distributor who can help them create this wealth, because we believe this is how, in Grow Mutual Fund, we believe this is how wealth will be created over a period of time.
Fantastic. We always say internally that markets have not destroyed wealth. It
Yeah,
is the behavior of investor that does.
correct.
Thanks for validating. So now it brings me to a very interesting point. See, India has learned to buy products. Okay, they have grown buying product like the Maruti ad used to kitna degi. Like when people buy a product, they say, what is the return that I'll get? And most people come to buy product, not solution.
Right.
How do you think the what the right approach should be? Should be they go for a financial planning and then investing based on the financial plan, or the ad hoc method is a good method?
See, it's absolutely clear that you should always go with the financial planning and then you should decide what products you should buy. But see, realistically speaking, in Indian context, it will be a combination of both, right? 80 to 90% of your investment should be done via proper financial planning. And then you should do your asset allocation and allocate your assets accordingly, allocate your money accordingly in whichever asset, whichever schemes you have decided. And somewhere with some part of money, you can do experiments if you would like to, right? And I believe that should be there, right? People should keep trying on their own. People should know what is happening. People should be aware. See, one of the big things which have changed actually from 2018 to now in the last 7-8 years, people have become very aware, which is, I believe, is the first and the most important step in a country's journey
Correct.
from an investing perspective,
Hmm.
right? पीपल अगर अवेयर नहीं होते तो म्यूचुअल फंड अभी 80 लाख करोड़ पे नहीं होता. Mutual fund folios would not have been coming, mutual fund investor would not have come close to crossing 6
The
crore.
30,000 crore SIP book.
30,000 crore SIP book. I remember we were at a time, what, 2-3,000 crore pe we were like ki
2016 days was about less than 3,000 crores.
less than 3,000 crore, right? So
Yeah.
it has become crazy, and it has created a very big fruitful cycle for us, right? A lot of
Correct.
domestic investors coming in, markets are not as volatile as they used to be with FIIs,
Correct.
right? Domestic investors have started taking a very important role, all driven by retail investing. And it has created a very fruitful cycle, right? People will keep coming in, more money will keep coming in. It will help the economy because more companies will keep getting listed, right? Some big bang IPOs are happening, like the good companies are getting listed, which are probably never going to get listed. India has become one of the best market for IPOs in the world, right? So money will keep coming in, but largely you should not deviate from a financial plan. Most likely, if you are not able to do it on your own, take help from a distributor or take help from an advisor who can do this financial planning from you. But I believe there will be some customers who would like to, because the awareness is high, they would always like to deviate और डू समथिंग ऑन देयर ओन. फॉर दैट आई वुड से कि 5 से 10% आप थोड़ा अलग करके अपना एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन करते रहिए, बट अदरवाइज फॉलो योर फाइनेंशियल प्लान, फॉलो योर एडवाइजर स्लैश डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर, whatever they suggest, because they are in the best interest for creating your wealth.
Fantastic. In fact, that's what we do. We create a strategic asset allocation, which is
Perfect.
mapped to the goal. And then there's a small portion tactical asset allocation, which is focused on generating alpha for that goals.
Got it.
That's exactly what it does. Thank you so much. So now, see, now coming back to Groww. See, this is a very crowded market, asset management business. You
Sure.
already have 40, 45, 46 funds there.
Right.
Okay. You are a late entrant, but you have proved your worth in the stockbroking and the digital business that's already grown. So you've proven that well. So what is your plan of disrupting this asset management business? How will you create your space in this?
Honestly, हम लोग अपने जो भी business और whatever work we do, we look at it from perspective of two lenses. One is कि हमारा input metrics क्या है and output metrics क्या है और output क्या है. Second, we never worry about output. We only worry कि problem क्या solve करना है, and then we try to solve that problem by giving the best input, which is what we call as input metrics. जैसे Grow में and you would hear our founder speaking, we were never worried about output. Output ki we were the highest market share, highest growing, came as a output of whatever input was, which was extreme customer focus, right? Extreme focus on ki customer को पूरा clarity होना चाहिए, पूरा simplified होना चाहिए, and so on and so forth. In AMC, we are very, very clear on whatever input is, right? First, our input is design the right product for customers, write schemes for customers, and run it in the best possible way in which we understand, right? So if you know that we have spent, like, it's been more than 2 years that we have been in existence, but we have launched only two active funds so far, two active diversified funds so far. We launched our multi-cap fund about a year back, after 1 year of existence, because we took some time to understand how will we run our philosophy, what will it really reflect in real time. And that multi-cap fund has done phenomenally well, in terms of returns, because our thought process was very, very clear on how will we manage that fund. And of course, Anupam has done a very good job of managing the fund as well. We only launched our second fund 2 months back, which is multi-asset allocation fund. Again, we devised a completely new philosophy of, how do you do asset allocation? We call it Shastra. And uske through hum kaise apna fund manage karenge, that fund is also doing decently well. And only now that we are more comfortable, this QGAR जो approach से हमने multi cap launch किया था, we have created good alpha in the small cap category. Now with that comfort, we are launching a small cap fund, right? So first is that you launch funds, launch products which are right for the customers at the right time, and not just, keep launching funds very quickly to, get more AUM. That's not our objective. It's to be right to the customers. And of course, right to the advisors also, because these products are ultimately going to the advisors to advise to the customers. The second is, and much, much more important, that how do we bring the distributor community which is there in the new world, right? जैसे मैं आपको बता रहा था, markets, or actually the way of investing has completely changed from what it was in 2015 or 2018 to what it is now. Customers are much, much more aware. Customers have much more access. But what is missing is advice or, hand holding of some kind. You cannot, as a distributor, I believe that if you want to be part of this next growth which is going to happen, जैसे इंडिया ने अभी बहुत investors create कर दिए, right? We have like 5.5 crore investors, and a lot of them want the advice. Like, you don't have to go approach someone saying कि, would you like to be my customer? There are customers waiting to get the advice. But उनको manage करने का, उनको handhold करने का तरीका has changed completely. They are not paper pen investors. They need an app to track their portfolio. They are not going to wait for SOA to come. They need online handholding. They want to do online transactions. They want to register their mandates online. So how can you do that? And for that, we have launched something called Astra. So on and so forth. How do we help distributor create their brand online? For which we have done Catalyst and Nivesh Pe Charcha. How do you reimagine your business completely online? For which we are doing O2O. How do you create a brand authority? For which we are doing store branding. So with all of this, we are trying to revitalize the distribution business and help them bring in the new age. And these are the two approaches. These are the two input matrices which I keep talking about. Launch the right products and help the advisors come into the new age with a new thought process, new segment of customer, new thought process of customers.
Fantastic. That's great. So coming back to your product and the outperformance that you talk about. See, we have seen in the past also. For example, if there are fund like Parag Parag or Quant, when they performed exceptionally well, it was very easy for them to get asset under management. Okay, they could money flows increase there,
Sure.
and so it's easy. The outperformance will get you money, but to stay consistently outperform at all times is a very difficult ball game to play.
Correct.
Okay, no fund managers have consistently been at the top
Absolutely right.
for perpetual period. Okay, you will have your times of
Sure.
underperformance.
Absolutely.
So beyond performance, what would be your, in a way, or moat or USP from a client perspective,
Yeah.
not from a distributor perspective?
Perfect. Very good question. And that is basically the bread and butter of the AMC, right?
Hmm.
See, the idea is that you don't change the simplest answer is, what I can tell you is, you don't change your philosophy. आप philosophically change नहीं कर सकते जिस टाइम से मार्केट है. You can only adopt and learn, right? So for example, अगर हम QGAR पे as a philosophy follow कर रहे हैं, what it means is that we will buy only quality companies. Quality means कि quality of management should be very high, quality of business should be very high, and there are parameters in which we judge across these companies. Growth means the growth of the category should be very high, the growth of the business should be decent. That is the companies we select. And reasonable price means valuation at the point at which we are buying should be well in the category or in the range where we are comfortable buying that business with. This is what our philosophy is, right? There are times when QGAR might not work, and you are absolutely right. That is the time when underperformance will come. There are times when momentum can come, or some non-quality stocks are running. Right? There are times when this can happen. Will we change our philosophy? Will we play that game to chase returns? No. We will stick to our philosophy. We will adopt and learn, but we will always buy quality companies who are giving good growth versus the category at the reasonable valuation. And we believe that there can be pockets of underperformance. There can be time period in which other segments of in the market, other segments where the growth is coming. But in the long term, we are confident that we will be able to outperform in our core active equity diversified fund using this philosophy. द सेकेंड इज शास्त्र जो मैंने हाइब्रिड फंड का बात किया. देयर ऑल्सो विल फॉलो जो हमने फिलोसफी सेट किया है. विल अडॉप्ट एंड लर्न, बट विल नॉट चेंज अवर फिलोसफी डिपेंडिंग ऑन वेयर. वी विल नॉट बी मोमेंटम चेजर्स, विल नॉट बी रिटर्न्स चेजर्स. विल be very sure of what we want to do in that fund, and that is what we will do, and that's why we are very slow in fund launches. We are not doing like back to back fund launches.
Great, good. So what I've seen as a habit, okay, when I go to various television shows also, and I get this question asked, inevitably when I've looked at people buying investment product and they're buying themselves, I've realized that they are buying based on historical returns. They may enter late, they may exit when the market is correcting a bit. So you've seen the SIP stop when the market corrected from 2024 October for some 6 months also.
Right.
The lot of SIP stopped there
Yeah.
also. Okay. So people make this kind of behavior blunder. From a vantage point of AMC CEO, what's your perspective? Why do people do that?
See, there will always be this, right? Like people, we have seen always the highest inflows happen when the markets are at peak,
Correct.
right? This is always what we have seen historically as well.
Yeah.
This time we are very lucky that DIIs have taken a much more massive position, and there is not much volatility in the market while there are drawdown cycles,
Yeah.
but the drawdown cycles are not long,
Long.
right? We are yet to see a very long drawdown cycle, and it is anyone's guess how the customer behavior will change then. If I would like to take a guess, I would take two guesses. One, first कि customer has become very aware, right? So customer में देखिए सबसे पहले आता है trust. तो एक ट्रस्ट इस्टेब्लिश हो गया है कि म्यूचुअल फंड में यस इट्स अ गुड इंस्ट्रूमेंट फॉर मी टू क्रिएट वेल्थ ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम. सो पीपल आर इन्वेस्टिंग and people will continue to invest even though the markets are down. You see like as an AMC also, when the markets are down, you see higher inflows, right? This is the first time I believe it is happening in India, that more inflows is coming when the markets are down or any particular category is down, because people believe that over a period of time this category will recover. People have become more long term investors than short term return chasers. But when I say people, I'm still talking about 5 to 10% of population. The remaining population which you are talking about, which does mistakes like this, is where we believe the role of an advisor or role of a distributor becomes very important. The emotional management, they need someone whom they can talk to. They need someone who has seen these different market cycles, जो उनको बता सके कि इस टाइम पे what is the right thing you should do. More often than not, we believe they will be able to guide the investor in the right direction. And that is where our confidence is, कि for wealth creation, you need handholding, you need an advisor / distributor, and that's why we are banking to help that community come into the new age of the way we believe distribution can be done in the new digitized era.
Fantastic. So you've coined a beautiful word, Shastra, for your asset allocation product.
Yeah.
Okay. So there are a lot of thought process that goes into those kind of building product.
Sure.
But I mean, I'm a bit confused because I feel that when people buy products randomly, do you think they really understand the underlying logic how the product is constructed? Or and as a distributor and as a also AMC, a product manufacturer, how can we better inform that audience in terms of understanding the real rationale behind buying a product
Sure.
than just buying the product?
Sure. It's a very good question. See, देखिए, we have to understand that in India there are pockets of customer segments, right? एक segment है जो बहुत informed है, very well knowledgeable है, which is probably between 2 to 5% of total investable population. उनको आप बताएंगे, शास्त्र बताएंगे, आप उनको QGAR बताएंगे, उनको सब समझ में आएगा, स्टॉक सिलेक्शन स्ट्रेटजी बताएंगे, and they are interested to hear, and that is how they select a product. The large part of India will always continue to remain financially illiterate. And it is rightly so, because it's not their business. जैसे मैं आपको example बताता हूँ. Yesterday I went to Gurgaon to meet a friend of mine. His salary is probably 2.5 crores a year. Works in a very top rate, like works in a very big top MNC, handles their manufacturing here in India. And he has asked me about 3-4 years back कि भाई मेरे को investment चालू करना है. And I suggested him an advisor, and he is very happy with his advisor. मैंने उसको पूछा किस schemes में invest कर रहा है, उसको scheme का भी नाम नहीं पता है. Right? Because his advisor, his distributor has selected it for him. उसने अपना need बताया. उसने बताया कि I have a daughter, she's 8 years old, I want to save for her education, I want to save for her marriage, and उन्होंने उसके लिए एक financial plan ready किया. And I'm confident that that distributor would have understood what are the nuances of the product, what is his risk return profile, और उसके basis पे उन्होंने उसका portfolio create किया होगा. Right? So that is what the role which advisor plays in a customer's wealth creation journey. But there will again be investors जिनको समझ में आता होगा 5%. Remaining, that is where advisor role becomes important. They have to understand the product, or distributor, they have to understand the product, and they have to match their product with the need of the customer well.
Very good question. That's a important point. In fact, there's a question I wanted to ask you also. How critical is the suitability of a product? Okay.
Right.
Because the same product can mean different things to different investors. Okay.
Absolutely.
For example, if I have a children education goal, now that goal is 2 years away from it. Okay, I have a 14-year-old and 16 years I need the money for higher education. Should I be investing in equity, or should I be ensuring that I preserve capital? Okay, that's a
Right.
very difficult question for a lot of people.
Correct.
But if I do randomly, ki child education is long and I should invest in equity, I will make a blunder.
Correct.
So, but a lot of people miss this angle.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts around the suitability aspect of a product?
I would say more than suitability aspect of the product, most important is to understand the risk profile of your investor. Right? Just say, for example, there are investors who are okay with, let's say, 20%, 30% kind of drawdown. Very limited. Most of the investors believe that they are risky investor, but जब 20-30% market गिरता है तो सबको
They
लगता है they panic,
Hmm.
right? So you have to read as an advisor or distributor, you have to read between the lines and understand what this customer really wants और उसकी actually profile क्या है. और उसके बाद से आप select करिए उसके लिए product कि ये what is the kind of product I want him to get invested in, what is the kind of risk return profile he is comfortable with. The second is the point where it comes to उसका duration कितना है, and what is my individual call as a distributor on what is happening in the market. As for example, most distributors right now are not putting lump sum in a lump sum in direct equity, right? Right now, right? Because they believe कि अभी short term में थोड़ी volatility हो सकती है. They are putting lump sum in say MAF as a category, right? And they are and that is where they are seeing okay, it's probably will do good in the next few years. Some of the distributors have started putting lump sum in small cap as a category because small cap has corrected, and they are seeing that okay, there is a good potential for it to grow from here on. So that depends on then advisor's call. That depends on the risk profile of the investor, and that is where both of them have to match for them to create alpha and to potentially generate wealth for their customers.
So, okay, very good question, Varun. So, you have said that people should ideally be investing to their goals
Yeah,
or a portfolio asset allocation construction.
correct.
But unfortunately, India has always been a return led investing philosophy.
So far,
Okay, so far, right? So, from if India has to change from return led investing to a goal led investing method, what change or what shift should happen to enable that move?
see that shift has already started happening. See, for mutual fund investing to become popular, the first step was awareness, as we talked about. So awareness has happened. The next step which will happen will be education,
Okay.
right? Will be knowledge. And that knowledge is also happening over a period of time. It is happening via distributors, it is happening via advisor, it is also happening DIY, right? Customers are reading, people have started putting a large part of their net worth into mutual funds. And once that happens, they will get to know about what the mutual fund is or what it does eventually, and they will probably not chase returns. As I was telling you, we are seeing very interesting, as an AMC, we are seeing a lot of interesting things happening. So for example, we have a fund called Railway PSU Index Fund, right? That fund has, from a return perspective, the fund has been kind of average since the time we have launched, but the popularity of that fund is so high right? That every day there is a decent amount of inflow which is coming in the fund, because first of all, it's a unique fund, and smart investors are aware that railway, or are of a belief that railway as a category can deliver disproportionate return in the next 7 to 10 years, right? So smart investors are also there. People are getting educated, and same with a lot of other funds in our portfolio. And generally also when I'm talking to advisors or distributors, I'm realizing that their conversation with customers have also started changing, right? Customers are also as much aware as them. दे आर टेलिंग देम कि अच्छा ये इसमें अंडरलाइंग स्टॉक्स ऐसे है, इसमें इतना रिस्क है, आप भी इसको थोड़ा इवेल्युएट करिए. तो customers are also evolving, distributors are also helping, advisors are helping in customer evolution. But the next step is knowledge after awareness, which I believe is happening, but will happen slowly in India over a period of time.
That shift will happen, you think?
Yes.
Okay. So now, one more thing which I have realized over is, and this is I'm just quoting from a very real life example. So one of a client who actually went through a small surgery, doctor, she said, Tanveer, I want well, I have invested also, but it's so ad hoc spread across, I don't know my real net worth.
Right.
Okay. So can you help me consolidate?
Right.
So what I'm also realizing, that there is a need for consolidation
Absolutely. Yeah.
of investment.
Correct.
So do you think that in future you will see a platform evolving that will help users track multiple investment across various segment, not only mutual fund,
Right.
across various segment, like even EPF and PPS and PS,
Right.
under all one roof, and show that their investment?
I believe is a need of an hour, a need of the current hour, right? Like abhi aap agar, let's take example of a corporate employee, right? Like let's say he becomes serious about his wealth creation 10 years down the line, when he's like probably 30, 32 in his life. In this 10 years उसने 80C में इन्वेस्ट किया होगा. खैर अभी नहीं करते, बट 80C में उसने कुछ ना कुछ पॉलिसी ले रखी होगी, एक लैंड वगैरह कुछ बाय किया होगा, 2-3 एफडी कर दी होगी, कुछ म्यूचुअल फंड में एसआईपी होगा, पीपीएफ डेफिनेटली होगा, और पीएफ तो होगा ही होगा. Now at that age itself, till the time you have not really started investing very very seriously, your wealth is so distributed across that you don't really know your net worth, right? So people will need a platform, customers do really need a platform, and I believe it will be the need of an hour. It should definitely be there. Right now, it's a little difficult to do, because for a lot of this there is no direct accessibility. For example, अगर मैंने land में invest किया है, तो how would I know what is
Record
the
नहीं बोलेगा.
how do you know what is the the potential of the land, and so on and so forth. So I hope that over a period of time these things will get digitized, and it will become easier for the customers to
At least
track
the financial asset will come.
financial assets at least. Yeah. And
Okay.
good
No,
things are like, for example, commodities like gold and silver, it are all digitized.
correct.
तो अगर
Digital.
आपको गोल्ड में इन्वेस्ट करना है तो आपको अभी फिजिकल गोल्ड लेने की कोई जरूरत नहीं
जरूरत
है.
नहीं है.
ETF and FOF are the best way. गोल्ड फंड्स है like in which you can invest directly,
Correct.
right? So that is a financial asset. So मैं तो I advise my or I request distributors to advise कि talk customers की physical assets लेने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है,
हाँ.
right? Like unfortunately real estate is a very big investing
Portion.
portion. It will continue to remain so for
Yeah, in anybody's life, you buy,
yeah,
majority people, if you buy one house, that's the
yeah,
biggest buy in your life.
biggest buy in your life.
So that typically distorts the asset allocation.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
why we strip out consumption. If a real estate is for consumption, we don't account that as a part of asset allocation, because
Got it.
we put them in a part of net worth, but not as the part of asset allocation.
Very good.
Okay.
And anyways, primary house तो आपका net worth में calculate भी नहीं होना चाहिए, right? You are
Correct.
not going to sell the house.
Correct. अब डेली
Yeah.
एनएवी थोड़ी ना देखोगे उसका.
Yeah.
So now you see, Varun, you come from a very strong tech background, okay, and now data and AI is a buzzword.
Right.
So as an AMC, now I'm asking you from both perspective,
Right.
how will you leverage data and AI
Right.
for improving clients' life
Right.
and also helping improve the distributor's life?
I would say, see, in India and also in Groww AMC, we are in very early stages of adopting AI. Right? Abhi, see, AI, first of all, let me just clarify. AI is a buzzword now, but in our tech industry, AI has been in existence in 1970s. Right? In one form or the other, we have been using AI algorithms for doing some or the other things, right? But of course, the technology has advanced significantly now, and you can use it for a lot more use cases. Right now, we are using AI in our research, right? Our investing team uses AI to go through scripts, go through, what are the transcripts for different companies and multiple other use cases. it helps simplify their life a lot more. We use AI for a lot of data analysis, like to crunch data to understand what are the customer needs, what kind of investing patterns we are seeing in our AMC. We use data science in Shastra model, right? For our asset allocation model, we use data science. We look across 300 odd parameters to see what is the asset allocation we should do. So AI right now we are using as a service. There is not a core AI use case, I would say, like LLMs जो chat GPT वगैरह, ऐसा कोई core use case नहीं बनाते हैं हम लोग AMC में, but we are using AI as a service for a lot of our functions. Over a period of time, I believe this use case is only going to increase more.
AI is a buzzword, and maybe not immediately, but in times to come. Do you see that advisory also can become self directed and people can leverage AI in a way that they can manage the entire investment portfolio without an advisor?
See, I highly see one thing which I know with technology is you can never say no,
Correct.
right? Like the technology is advancing at such a rapid pace that anything is possible.
Correct.
But knowing as much as I know about Indian investors, as much as I know about how they think and what is the need, what is the need state, I believe they would always look forward to have some kind of handholding who can advise them at the right times, because the need states are very different, right? It's very, very like drastically different, right? For example, the questions can be very different. Let's say customer will ask कि मेरा 1 crore का portfolio है, I need 2 lakhs, where do I withdraw it from, right? So AI can give you a right technical answer, but an advisor will be able to give you an answer which is technical as well as their understanding of what should be happening in your portfolio plus what is happening in the market. So it's more art than science, right? Advising is what I believe, or distribution is what I believe. So there can be some use case of AI, but a large part of advisory I don't think is going to get disrupted with AI, at least in the short run.
Okay, if not complete digital, do you see that the evolving of hybrid model will at least?
Yeah. So what will happen very well is a advisor or distributor who has come into this new age and using AI for something in their services. That might become a very successful, successful engine,
Okay.
right? So that I believe can be very, very well done. Not 100% AI, but a hybrid with AI plus human can be very good feature.
So, since you, this is from investor perspective, but from a product manufacturer perspective, if you look at say data or AI, will you be using those for any predictive models or predicting analysis so that your Shastra kind of a product can actually work well in future?
So we don't call it prediction modeling, we call it more optimization modeling. That is what we use current our data science modeling for.
Is it efficient frontier one? No.
Efficient frontier is more about you creating the right portfolio,
Okay.
right portfolio with the right risk profile. Here we are looking at right asset allocation, so it's a question statement is a little different. The kind of parameters you use to reach that is a little different. So we are still a little bit away from predictive modeling, right? There, how you go about approaching that predictive modeling can be very different, right? Like, are you trying to predict the results of a company, right? Looking at all the data points of that company, or are you trying to predict कि आपका portfolio कैसे perform करेगा versus index per se? So we are still a little far away from there. And I would say कि right, मतलब more work is happening across that area, and I would be able to give you a better answer on how will we use predictive modeling probably 5 to 6 months down the line. But right now, it's more on optimizing and doing the right asset allocation.
What one mindset shift that you would encourage investor to adopt today so that they can sink in with their long-term investing outcome?
Right. See, there is only one single thing, right? See, mutual fund investing is about wealth creation in long run, right? It boils down to what is the asset class you want to be invested in. And see, people do long-term investing. There are SIPs has become a very big norm. I would suggest that, do a self-introspection. If you are able to manage your wealth, or if you want to put a decent amount of wealth in mutual fund of your net worth, if you believe you can do it DIY, then try it for some time. If you don't, and which I believe majority of the investor might not be able to, consider going to an advisor, consider going to a distributor and take their professional help because that is their job to help you create wealth over a period of time. And we have seen that over 25 years in this, actually 30 years in this industry, that they have done a fabulous job of creating that wealth, right? So we believe that is possible. So consider that is what my last message to the investors would be.
Thank you so much, Varun, for coming. It was lovely talking to you. And I personally found that insight was very, very useful. And think my followers, users will find this really helpful for them. And I personally took a lot of insights, and it is my takeaway to how I should be migrating my business in that digital journey and moving it forward. Thank you so much.
थैंक यू तनवीर जी फॉर द इनविटेशन, एंड आई थिंक आप ऑलरेडी वो सब चीज़ें कर रहे हैं जो हम बात कर रहे हैं, जैसे एमएफडी कम्युनिटी को करना चाहिए. एंड आई वुड लव फॉर यू इफ़ यू कैन ऑल्सो कम ऑन आवर प्लेटफॉर्म एंड टॉक अबाउट आपकी जर्नी, और आपने किस तरह से बिजनेस को पूरा रीइमेजिन करके डिजिटाइज करके अब आप एमएफडी का म्यूचुअल फंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कर रहे हैं. विल बी वेरी कीन टू लर्न फ्रॉम यू एज वेल.